Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Carlene plus Jaime. That was funny. I'm always accustomed to you opening up, so that's why. And I'm literally repeating what you always say.
Gotcha.
But let's try it again. Welcome to another episode of
Carlene
plus Jaime. There we go. And we are so happy that you once again have joined us. Whether it's Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day of the week, the fact that you tuned into us and that you're sitting down watching this episode, we do appreciate you. And we really, really value the support that we've been getting. You know, it's so funny, Carlene, like sometimes I'll go to like a conference or I'll go somewhere and then people will be like, yo, love your show. Yo, love what y'all doing. Just this week, somebody shouted out the episode that we did last week and they were just like, yo, we were hitting all the points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the week before. So if you haven't been following this series, we've been talking about intimacy. We've been talking about how our needs are different. The first episode was about you expressing what does tired mean, right? This last episode, was about how do I feel when Carlene says no. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how does she feel when I say no. But before we dive into our content, we do want to encourage that 67% of you that have not subscribed, that are watching the reels, that are watching the shorts, and you haven't clicked on the link or you haven't subscribed, won't you subscribe? I mean, you're watching right now. You might as well just hit the subscribe button. It will cost you nothing. You'll probably just get an alert. That's about it. But we're not like spamming you and doing a whole bunch of stuff. But the subscribes help us, the likes help us, the comments help us, and the share help us with the content that we're created. So thank you in advance for liking, for subscribing, and supporting. So, Sister K. You don't like that name?
No.
I know, I did it on purpose.
Okay.
All right. So Carlene, man, how you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm extremely tired today. I feel like my energy is a lot lower than usual. But I'm here. I'm present, and I'm just really happy to be in the space to share, you know, in conversations that aren't shared in spaces like this and in this way. I think everyone has their own way of sharing, and we certainly have our own way of sharing. And just wanted to, you know, show up because I definitely do feel like these conversations are pivotal, especially because we've been harping on us being, you know, the mentors for the middle or messy middle. My girl Rhea was like, oh, the 3 M's. I like it. The 3 M's. But I think that conversations like this is super important. And I'm ready to dive into this side of the conversation that is not necessarily spoken about often, because I believe that research does say that men are the ones that feel rejection more than women, or maybe they do feel it, but it's not something that's expressed to the outside, to the public, because it seems as though like the stereotype says that men want sex more.
All the time.
Every day, 50 times a day.
Afternoon, evening.
Right.
Every minute she can get it, you know, that type of thing.
Yes. And so I think because of that, it presents really as a hard thing to kind of process through, that a woman can feel rejection because men want sex more, or men want sex often, more often than women. Even though I do feel that there is a what's the word I'm looking for?
Truth to it, validity.
There's truth, but there's also you kind of have to know that it's not everyone feeling that. That's not the word I'm looking for. but not everyone feels that all the time. There are women with high sex drives, right? Depending on so many different things. So I don't want to exclude, those potential things that are happening in people's lives.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a reality that sometimes a guy can be tired or just not really wanting that, wanting to have sex and that no. But I think like it can come across as like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And, and sometimes it may not even be something serious. It could just be like, man, maybe another night or maybe some other time. So I think you were going to say something before I asked you a question.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So walk our listeners through walk our listeners through what goes through your mind or what it feels like if you initiate and I'm like, no, not tonight.
It feels horrible because again, I'm not the one that is often, I'm not, it depends, but for the most part, in our dynamic, I'm not the one that is always wanting sex.
Right.
As much as you.
Yeah.
Are. Or it's not something that, I won't say it's not something that I need, but it's not something that, like, I love and enjoy the foreplay. I love and enjoy things that kind of set the atmosphere, whether it's days before, the night before, the day of. That's just kind of my vibe. And I think that when rejected, I think it kind of throws me for a huge loop because I'm just like, wait a minute. Wait a whole minute. And it also, that rejection feels almost like what you expressed last week where, you start to think about like, is it me? Is it a loss of attraction? Is it something that I'm no longer, like he's no longer seeing, he's no longer feeling about me? You always wanted, and then all of a sudden you're just like, no, not right now. Or you never say I'm tired. First of all, let's just put it out there. This doesn't happen often.
Right. No, this doesn't happen often.
Let's put it out there. I should probably start that conversation by saying that this does not happen often. I think in my mind of all the years we've been married for 17 years, I would say 2 that stand out, but one in particular that stands out from since we've been married. And I'm just like, wait a whole minute. What do you mean? So yeah.
Right. And it doesn't happen often, but I think that because it doesn't happen often, my assumption, I would just say that I think that it's almost taken, not is the word for granted, or it's almost like it's surprising that it is happening. Because sometimes I think that women probably feel like you're supposed to always want it. Like if I'm giving it to you, you should always want it. It's like one of those things where it's almost like, I know you like this candy and I bought it today. So either one day I'm not going to give it to you, or when I'm ready to give it to you, you always better be ready to give it to me because that's what I expect. And so when that no comes, it's like, okay, I'm assuming it's probably like, what's wrong? You don't like this candy no more? Like you got new candy or whatever. But it is, I think it should be normalized or accepted in monogamous relationships that sometimes a guy may just not be feeling it and be okay, not drift off to the far end, like how I was describing that I'm not attractive or anything like that, for the same thing in your regard as well.
I don't think so. I don't think that it should be something that should be, it's almost like you go to the same candy store every single day and you get the same candy. All of a sudden, you show up and the candy that you've been getting, they talking about like, you can't have this candy anymore. You're like, wait a whole minute. Like, what do you mean I can't have this candy? I'm going to go through all the feelings. I'm going to go through all the emotions of feeling rejected or feeling denied because it's something that is not often felt. And it's a shock, it's a surprise to the mind, at least for me. And so I don't think that it should be something that you'd be like, oh, I wasn't rejected. I was rejected, so it's okay. Let me just, I'm okay with it. Okay. I don't think I don't, some people can do that. I know I can't do that.
Okay. So,
I can't turn that switch off.
So are you saying that it's not okay for men to say no?
I'm saying that it's okay for a man to say no because those are the feelings. Because I feel like, I was looking up like in modern trends that men are rejecting their spouses more because of work-life stress and all those things that are kind of dominating their mind, providing and doing all those things for their families. And so I definitely don't feel like a man should not, if they're not feeling it, then it's okay for you to be like, I'm not feeling it. I would rather, just the same like you would rather me say no and to fake it than to say yes, to say no, and then we just kind of regroup after another time.
So is it normalized for women to say no?
History says, right? The history and stereotype says that men want sex more, need sex more.
So then it's understandable if a woman is saying no.
So it's almost like the norm of, because a man wants it so much that a woman would be like, yo, I can't, right?
Got it.
Because I think our makeup, some of our makeup may be different. How we think, how we process are different than how you think and how you process. I wish we had some stats regarding like how often does a man think about sex versus how often does a woman think about sex. And they may be, in this day and age, they may be the same. Mm-hmm. But I know before there was a huge gap in terms of how often a woman, or maybe I won't even say of a huge gap. Maybe it was something that wasn't talked about. And so it was always assumed that men are the ones who think about sex 24/7, every minute, every second of the day, versus a woman. It's like, yeah, I'm thinking, but I'm also thinking about life and all the things that come.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it is true. I think because we're visual, I think mentally we're stimulated visually by appearance. Versus I believe that, as you described, it's more of an emotional connection sort of thing that stimulates you or makes you want to have sex. But so you were describing that you feel unattractive. You think you are unattractive.
Yeah, lots of insecurities start to come in, trying to like figure out like what really is going on. And I think for us, it always goes back to this. And I guess it's important for us to keep going back to this because I think it does. It is truly the juice, the thing that the glue that truly binds us is how well we communicate with each other. And so I remember when that moment did come and you were just like, not now. And I was like, what? Speak up.
Speak up.
And so you were like, not right now. Like,
yeah.
Did you say not right now? Or did you say like, I don't even remember which phrase you used.
I must have said something like, not tonight, or
Yeah.
maybe later.
Maybe
or-
later. That
yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe later. And I was just like, wait, maybe later. Like, I'm ready right now, brother. Like, come on, let's get this. And I remember like this feeling of, again, the rejection feeling, and just kind of spiraling, thinking like, what happened? You know, what's going on with him? Is he okay? Is there something that you didn't communicate to me that's been bothering you on top, you know, that's been on your mind and you haven't shared it with me? Like, I'm over here trying to do a deep dive investigation of why you are, you know, rejecting me in this moment. And I remember I usually shut down when it happened. I shut down in a sense where, like, I just closed myself off, because I was just like, brother,
You don't want all of this?
Are you serious right now?
You turning this down right now?
And so I remember feeling like I just remember kind of feeling cold. And just kind of, I think you were trying to talk to me and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to talk. Like, what are you trying to have a conversation with me? Like, everything is honky-dory. Everything is not honky-dory. I am not well. But I didn't say that. I didn't express myself. I just kind of was just kind of giving very short answers. And I think we've had this conversation before on this platform where we talked about, like, it's really hard for me to move forward without conversation, without communicating. Like, it really can make or break my day. And so as I'm maturing and becoming, that I'm more likely able to focus on fixing it, opposed to like continuing this like marathon of, I'm just gonna be mad. I'm just gonna sit here. And when I get home, I mean, if he texts me, I'm just gonna be very short, one word answers, or if he asks me a question, I'm just gonna be like, no, or yes. Or when I see him at home later, I'm just gonna be like very cold, you know, and just kind of keep that energy. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the older I'm getting, I'm just like, for what? You know, like, why hang on to that why hang on to it, period? And so I believe I sent you a text message, and I was just like, yo, I don't quite understand. This is how I'm feeling. And it was so cool. Like, you were like, I can almost hear, if you were in person, I could almost see like a smirk on your face, but like, now you know how I feel. Got him, you know, that kind of feeling. But you were very open to conversation. You were, you know, understanding of what it was I was feeling. And you took the time to explain why or what was happening in your mind and why you responded the way you did. So that made me feel a whole lot better. And I was just really happy that we took advantage of our time in not being at odds, but just understanding where, I just wanted to know where you were coming from and why you said what you said. And so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think it goes back to the couple care menu, communication, yes. Right? And a no without, it's never cool to just have a no without some sort of explanation. Mm-hmm. And if I don't remember the instance, I remember the instance of saying no.
I'm sure you do.
And I know that partly, yeah, it's like to show you how it feels. Mm-hmm. But then also too, I think I had a lot going on mm-hmm. and just tired. And it is one thing for me is that I don't like sex when it feels like it's a charity.
Mm-hmm. Or chore,
mm-hmm. where it's like, let me just break him off because he needs it, mm-hmm. right? I enjoy, and I'm sure for like probably most men, where it's like we both want it, right? Like we both like it's intense and that it's a moment. It's not just a thing. And I think that perhaps, I know in that instance, there was a lot on my mind. I don't know if I was probably disappointed with you with something that you did earlier or throughout the day.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that either.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's a different story you telling.
No, but I think where I'm going is that for a brother to say no, there has to be a reason. There has to be, and it can be I'm tired. Because I'm tired, just like how you can be tired, can also mean the same for me.
Yeah.
Where it's work related, it's stress related. It could be anxiety too, right? It could be like, yo, the last time that we did it and I didn't feel like I performed the way that I would have liked to. So I'm kind of like, like, man, I don't want to mess up again, or like not be I don't want to feel like I'm not the man or whatever. So there's multiple reasons. And I think that if you're in a relationship, a trustworthy relationship, you should definitely be able to communicate with your spouse in regard to why you would say no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a deal breaker, honestly. Because I can imagine if not dealt with, that it can turn into something massive.
Yeah.
And it can bring so many things into their marriage space that I don't think it's healthy. And so I think always keeping a buck with each other, and sometimes being afraid of what it is that you might hear, but trusting that at the end of the day, that your spouse loves you, your spouse cares for you, your spouse sees you for the beautiful human being that you are. And it's just one of those kind of moments in life. And so I think that's at the very foundation of all things, is just understanding your spouse and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that the love that you share is one that sometimes can make you feel like, in moments where you need to feel secure, that they can make you secure, right? They can remind you of what and how and who and all those things. So I think that is vital. I was going to say pivotal, but I think it's vital to a healthy marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're communicating and you're talking to each other in between, right? Then you would know where your spouse is, how your spouse is feeling, and if it's the appropriate time to initiate something like that. So like if we're talking and you know about my week, or you know about my day, or you know something that happened, you would know like maybe I should lay off, right? And I think like that's
That word lay off, sorry.
right. I don't know how to describe. I should back off or chill. Maybe I should chill. And I think that's all part of the process of learning how to communicate and talk about certain things. Because then also too, I think it's also good to understand as well that like, yo, if I'm having a bad day and I'm having a bad week, that can just make me forget about all my troubles and all my worries and all my cares, and my burdens will be lifted at or in the bed.
Okay.
Amen. Preach. Who's ready for baptism?
Okay.
Yes.
Not sure what's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just saying is that's when you communicate, then you'll know. Yeah. So oftentimes I think it's important for couples to know that, especially for wives to know that don't go off on a deep end if your husband says no. Now, if your husband is saying no as many times as you say no, then maybe that's a conversation that we need to have.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, because that's a little, that might be a little bit awkward. If it's constantly rejecting you and constantly say no, or he feels like it's a chore to almost like, all right, fine, let's do it. Then I believed, and then that calls for deeper conversation, deeper understanding, and figuring out why in the world is this brother just constantly just rejecting me.
Yeah, because then you have to think about like, is there other things happening that shows that they're still attracted to you, right? Like I know that for sure that you would embrace me. You'll always try to touch my butt and like always try to, you're always touching me.
Yes. Amen.
So that's an indication that, yeah, even though in this moment, you may not want to, right, to have sex, but at least, I don't want to say at least, but I know that physical touch, sensual touches are happening outside of that. So I'm just like,
yeah. And
I think that's something that's also an indicator of, okay, yeah, he's still touching me.
yeah. And there's a strong possibility that the spouse can still be attracted to you physically, but there's also the possibility of maybe that spouse is going through something. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't know if this is actually a term, but I'm sure it is because there's so many terms out there. But there can be something like sexual anxiety, and for mentally that brothers go through that he's probably like, nah, I'm afraid of the outcome of what it might be. Because I think like also to say, for example, that you're constantly doing it or not every day, but in a regular schedule. And the outcome of it is not to the expectation of either partner. Mm-hmm. I can see to avoid that outcome, a brother saying, nah, I'm good, not tonight, or constantly rejecting. And that might not necessarily be on the spouse, on the significant other. That can be on them. And I think that's probably an opportunity or a moment for a conversation about therapy, right? To figure that out. Nevertheless, whatever it is, there always has to be some sort of communication and some sort of resolution.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's all a part of the process, and some people may experience it, some people may not. But for those of you who have, I hope that this episode, talking through a little bit of like what happens when a woman feels rejected. Is it the same feelings that that a man has? And I can almost say that it is almost just about, I think it's probably worse because I think it's not something that happens often. You kind of go off the deep end really thinking and try to make up narratives about what is, what isn't versus what is, and leaning heavily on your communication skills, your relationship, to be able to communicate in an open, non-judgmental, free way with your spouse when in those moments when you do feel rejected. What it also did for me was it made me more aware. Not that I wasn't aware before, but it made me more aware of what sometimes Jaime might go through, right? And so for me to be mindful, to be a little bit more mindful, because sometimes I think that can be taken for granted. Like, yes, life is going like 500,000 miles an hour, but I think how important it is to recognize, like, man, when you do that, this is how he feels. So what do? I communicate and I say, hey, this is what it is. This is why I'm feeling this way. This is what's happening, and not have him do a whole lot of guessing. I'm not saying that it eases, like it completely takes away the rejection, but I'm sure it kind of feels a little bit more of like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand. And so there's a little bit more grace. There's a little bit more tolerance for life happening, and for you to be like, okay, I get it. And kind of moving forward from there. So I think that's what it also, that awareness was brought to my attention. So now I'm a little bit more careful or mindful.
Yeah, well, no, that's good. That's good. And I think the same thing I discovered too when we unpacked when you're tired. And that's part of the messy middle, right? Like that wasn't a conversation that we had 2 years into our marriage,
Nope.
3, 4, or 5. That came like within after year 7, right? And that's a sign of maturity and growth. And I think that's key in a relationship, that you're growing together and you're understanding each other and that you're in tune with each other's feelings. Because it's a terrible thing if it's one-sided and it's just one partner going through by themselves, or one partner just coping and managing everything on their own.
Yeah.
And that defeats the word partner, right? That just means that it's solo. So yeah, shout out to you for understanding, and shout out to you for probing me and pushing me to talk. Because I will bottle up. I will not speak. I will not express myself. But I've learned throughout the years of being married to Carlene that it is important to talk. It is important to open up. It is important to express, so that we are on the same page and we're understanding each other.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you openly communicate to me those deep thoughts, where it's not just this surface, like, yeah, I'm good, or yeah, my day was good, or my day was okay, but like really being able to dive into your mind to see the beauty of your mind and how you think and how you process. It really gives me a up close and personal view into you, and that makes me feel it makes me feel like it awakens parts of me that I didn't even know existed. Because it's almost like, man, especially because I know that you struggled in the past with really truly communicating your feelings for various reasons. And when you do, I want you to know that it truly makes my heart glad.
Wow.
It brings so much, like, I don't know. I think in marriage, like, this is your person, so you want to know as much as possible about your person. And no one is as close to you as your person.
Right.
And so it's almost like, if you're not sharing it with me, are you sharing it? And I know for you, you're more than likely not sharing it.
Right.
So it's like you're this human being walking around in this world, shouldering all of those thoughts. Like, nah, like, release it to a person that you know that it's going to land in a safe, soft space. And so I just wanted to affirm that growth that I've seen in you, but also let you know how I really, 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 really love when you open parts of you that you've kept hidden for some time. So.
Oh man, thank you for verbalizing that, and thank you for listening, and thank you for understanding. Because it can be one thing if I talk and you don't listen, because then that will make me shut down even more. Or if you go off and jump to conclusions, but that you're willing to put aside your feelings to hear what I'm saying, to feel what I'm feeling. And so I appreciate that. Thank you for making it comfortable for me to be able to talk.
Welcome.
Thank you. That's dope.
Yes.
Yeah. So look, y'all, I know that our conversation was, hopefully it was impactful in this short space of time. And if you have questions or comments or something we said that you agree or disagree with, put it in the comments. We would love to do a follow-up or love to reply, because we read all the comments that you leave for us. And if you haven't subscribed this yet, we encourage you to subscribe, to like, share, comment, and to work on, your relationship and talk to each other, communicate with each other, because it is one of the many things that will bring you through the difficult, messy middle and further on beyond that. So thank you for tuning in tonight. This is your girl.
This is your girl, Carlene. Sorry.
And this is your boy, Jaime.
Peace.
Peace out.